everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So today is April 9th, 2025. And I've been watching, believe it or not, I've been watching Harry's court case. Thank you. Oops. Thank you to Diane for sending me the links. I didn't realize that you can watch the live stream of Harry's latest court case. And although I'm not a lawyer, I don't, I can only follow it in a general sense. You get the idea, of what's going on here. So what I have on the screen, there's two videos. The first day was Harry's lawyer, which is this woman here, his barrister here, Shahid Fatima. And yeah, nobody likes this woman. She's kind of, she just basically goes on and on about Harry's security. Harry's security is provided for by Ravik. A bunch of experts in security decide how much security Harry needs. And they also have another group, R&B, they call it, which Harry, Ravik, let me see if we have it here. Yeah, I believe R&B is Risk Management Board. So Ravik asked the Risk Management Board to make an assessment. So basically what happened is when Harry left the royal family, Ravik said, well, we'll just do security on a bespoke basis, depending on the circumstances or why he's here, what we need to do. And we'll decide then if we need to bring in R&B or Risk Management Board. And Harry's lawyer, Fatima, they call her Ms. Fatima, said that no, that's wrong. Ravik is always supposed to have R&B with every security decision, with every time Harry goes there. So I'm assuming, I don't know, but I assume they don't mention anything about IPP status. But I assume Harry needs R&B involved to get IPP status, is my assumption. I could be wrong about that. Let me know. But because the big deal here with Harry and his lawyer here, Fatima, is that he doesn't get R&B every time he goes to the UK. And by the way, this lawyer Harry has, this barrister, is the same one that got in big trouble in court back in March 24th, 2022. This was published in The Sun. She broke privacy rules and she was blasted by the judge. So this is the same lawyer. And this article just says Harry's lawyer was given a furious dressing down by a high court judge after breaching strict privacy rules. Shahid Fatima was monstered in open court by Mr. Justice Swift after handing an embargoed legal document to a PR strategist. Important to keep in mind that PR control Harry and Meghan, the globalists, control the mainstream media. And that's part of the reason I kind of watched this case, because you can't trust anything in the mainstream media. Harry and Meghan, their globalist buddies, control everything and they lie about everything, pretty much. So yeah, this woman gave, national security documents that the judge specifically told not only the lawyers could see, and they were not to distribute anywhere else. And she made matters worse by giving it to Tim Robinson, who was a PR guy, reputation specialist, aka PR. Look at the way he reframes his title there. He's PR, and reputational specialist. But not only did Fatima give him documents that were breached national security, she also refused to apologize. I didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't my fault. So she made matters worse, and she only admitted to the breach a week after she leaked it. A week. And repeatedly failed to apologize to the judge. Yeah. This is Harry's lawyer. Yeah, she said she didn't believe there was a breach. And the judge got red-faced. She got the judge furious. She just instigated the judge again and again. Like, oh, did I breach confidentiality of national security? No, I didn't. I don't believe I did. And so the judge was like, let me disabuse you of that straight away. What you're saying isn't making anything better. And in another article, the judge actually called her a criminal, alluded to her being criminal. Like he should have just like had her arrested right there. It's entirely unacceptable, and she refused to apologize. So that makes me think it wasn't a mistake, right? The way she's trying to justify it, obviously on purpose. You don't accidentally email high security document to a PR guy. What the hell is she doing communicating with a PR guy? Tim Robinson. Yeah. Yeah. So there's that article. Yeah. So this is a criminal, basically, lawyer. I mean, some could argue that a lot of lawyers are very criminal minded, but she's definitely evil criminal. She's probably another Satanist along with Harry, no doubt. So this is the piece of work here. So she was the first day. So basically, her argument that was that R&B, from what I understand, is that R&B, Harry's apparently sitting in the back, but they never show him. Why he was even there, I don't know. I guess he had to be there, I guess, but he didn't say anything. He wasn't, asked any questions or anything. So she went on and on that previous judge's ruling, because this is an appeals court. So she's arguing the previous judge's ruling is wrong because Harry needs to have Ravik and R&B every time. So then the defense's judge comes out and says, no, Ravik and R&B are equivalent in expertise. It doesn't make his security better if he had R&B every time. And this should not be decided by a court of law, which is the first judge found. And he's saying reasonably that Harry's bespoke security that they decide every time he goes there is actually a better arrangement for him. Now he's not losing any security. So the point is, Ravik and R&B are equivalent and secure in expertise. So it makes no sense that Harry and his lawyer, his criminal lawyer, is demanding R&B on top of it, unless I assume R&B is necessary for IPP status. So, but again, that wasn't mentioned at all in court, so I don't know for sure. Maybe some other more knowledgeable in UK law can enlighten me on that one. I assume that's the case. But what I found interesting, see, I found a gem here. One of the benefits of doing the actual source material is you can get some interesting tidbits here, little insights you're not going to hear about in the mainstream media, right? You're not going to hear the mainstream media tell you what I'm about to tell you, because I actually sat and watched this thing. You're welcome. I sat through this thing for hours, and one of the benefits of adult coloring, you start a coloring, you put on a video in the background, you can just listen for hours and get everything. So listen to this part. Now, this is the defense against Harry. So this is the guy fighting against Harry and his criminal lawyer. And I don't remember his name. Sorry. But listen to, now he cites, now this is after talking for like an hour. Okay, this is an hour into it, where it's very kind of boring, and unless you're a lawyer, this goes on and on. An hour into, he cites some cases, right? So lawyers cite other judgments from other cases to support their arguments that, the previous judge in a similar case to this cited this way. So we think that it supports our argument that this case should be decided the same way. So listen to the case here that he cites. What he says here, I don't have closed caption yet because this was live today, so the closed caption's not up yet. But listen to what he says here. Let me move my screen over. Oh, I guess you can see him well enough here. Let me see. Just move this over here because the chat is over there. Listen to what the example that he gives of a case to support his argument against Harry and his criminal lawyer trying to accuse the royal family, because they kept bringing up, oh, Harry's getting different security from the others, from Harry, from Prince William and the king, and they keep bringing that up, that Harry feels like they're just putting on me, right? So listen to this case that this lawyer, barrister, uses to argue that Harry's side is wrong.
So that's the fifth proposition. The sixth proposition is that munjaz does not provide binding authority, rejecting rationality. I wanted to make three short points by way of development of that. You'll recall the bits my learned friend took you to them yesterday. I don't go back to them in the interest of time, particularly Lady Hale. But the submissions of these, the statements of principle in munjaz and in Lady Hale's judgment in munjaz particularly, are consistent, we submit, with either approach. In other words, either for the court or rationality. She is simply making the point that intensity of review varies depending on subject matter. And that's something which is a good point when applied to rationality. It's very familiar under rationality that intensity of review sits on a spectrum, as I've indicated. In that case, it's to be borne in mind. In other words, in munjaz, the courts were dealing with a very different argument, and the argument was that there could be a decision to depart from the relevant policy for good reason or none at all. So you weren't really in a territory of review at all. It was more like a non-justiciability argument. Unsurprisingly, the court rejected that, but it is neutral as to the debate that we are having between rationality on the one hand and good reason giving leeway or respect on the other. It's also, for good measure, dealing with a very different context, a very anxious context involving the detention of mentally vulnerable persons, their patients, and its own particular statutory context. I do want to emphasise that.
Okay, did you catch that last few seconds? Apologies, a bit long. So he's pointing out that you have to leave it to the experts, right, to make the decision. It's not up to the judge. But look, the example he gives is munjaz, which is about incarcerating mentally ill people against their will. I'll play that one last section again so you hear it.
On subject matter. And that's something which is a good point when applied to rationality. It's very familiar under rationality that intensity of review sits on a spectrum, as I've indicated. In that case, it's to be borne in mind. In other words, in munjaz, the courts were dealing with a very different argument, and the argument was that there could be a decision to depart from the relevant policy for good reason or none at all. So you weren't really in a territory of review at all. It was more like a non-justiciability argument. Unsurprisingly, the court rejected that, but it is neutral as to the debate that we are having between rationality on the one hand and good reason giving leeway or respect on the other. It's also, for good measure, dealing with a very different context, a very anxious context involving the detention of mentally vulnerable persons, their patients, and its own particular statutory context. I do want to.
Isn't that interesting? He's making the case that this case that Harry has against them and the way that the experts decide it is very similar to the experts, like the psychiatrists, who decide to detain a mentally ill person. Yeah, I thought it's interesting that the opposing barristers or lawyers are using that as an example to say, look, Harry's wrong, and here's why. The decisions Ravik makes, they're experts. They can decide. There's no set rule. According to Harry's criminal lawyer wants to argue, they weren't following protocols. And they're saying, no, it's up to the experts to decide based on the context. Just like, the experts decide based on context whether or not to detain a mentally ill person. Gee, I wonder why he used that example with Prince Harry. Do you wonder? I wondered. I heard that. I perked up a little bit on that one. just be a coincidence. It could have just been that was the case law. But I kind of wonder if there was a hidden um, meaning to that, like sort of putting the idea out there, but indirectly. What do you think? I'm always looking for subconscious, unconscious manipulations, and when you that intrigued me. I'm like, I wonder why he used that case as an example. Why he brought that up as an example. So I just want to look into that just for fun. Again, it could just be coincidence. Could just be, well, that's the case. It just so happens to be about incarcerating mentally damaged people. People, insane people who should be in a bubble room, as the military put it. The UK military put it one time about Harry. And alluding to the fact that Harry, in my opinion, I'm asking, is he alluding to the fact that Harry's mentally ill and maybe he needs to be incarcerated because he's doing nothing but causing trouble everywhere he goes and wasting millions of taxpayer dollars on frivolous court cases, one after the other. I mean, the fact that Meghan went to court over a letter to daddy, I mean, obviously they're insane, and everybody knows. I mean, Meghan, and at the same time, Meghan comes out with her podcast, making up another lie about her fake pregnancy. Just instigating people again. She keeps harping on the fake pregnancies and whatnot. That's an aside. It just shows how crazy they both are, and they're trying to drive us crazy. So I'm wondering if that's why the defense brought that up as an example. Was he alluding? I might use my Harry and Meghan cards. Yeah. Was he alluding to the fact that, I think we're dealing with a deranged individual? And it's not the first time. A lot of royals in history have been deranged and insane, right? And Harry looks like he's following that same path, and he has been for a while. Taking drugs, lying about it, attacking his family, and now these court cases. So let's see. Was the defense alluding? Well, should I take these? I'll take these, I guess. These flipped. I guess you could say these flipped out. All right. So we got Seven of Pentacles reviewing, analyzing somebody's health status here, potentially. A very, and again, this was an hour into his presentation. So it was like kind of slipped in there. Sun reversed. And not drawing direct attention to it, but indirect, putting it in the spotlight here about the sun, the literal son of the king here, possibly. And of course, we got the Hermit card, the Harry card, deranged, mentally ill Harry, perhaps. Trying to challenge the experts here. Ooh, putting it out in the media here, something negative in the media, a negative message, an attack on the media, because they know that most of what they said in court, they couldn't say anything because it was public, right? And they were dealing with private, arguments of Harry was having with his family. So it was all very cloak and dagger. I'm getting a lot of reverse cards because this is a very secretive. Everything was very vague. Oh, I can't say anything more because of privacy here in the because they knew they were being live streamed around the world. Which I'm glad they did this. This was great. It was interesting to see how this all runs. I do think this was a jab, and he did put the idea out kind of subliminally there in the media. And I do think he thinks Harry's mental health issues. I mean, we know Harry has mental health issues. Him and Meghan, really. Everybody knows it. He admits to it. He talks about it all the time. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune. Something unexpected here. And then Page of Coins. Using facts, documents here. I think that he was surprising people, putting in something like that. And I do think that it was a message. I think it was, subtle. It happened to work with this court case, and it happens to be accurate. As for the assessment of this whole situation, of Harry's security. I mean, the whole thing's crazy because, like he said, Ravik and R&B are equivalent in expertise. So there's no point in arguing, as Harry's criminal lawyer argued. There's no point in arguing that they should both be there every time Harry visits. It doesn't make any sense. Unless it's IPP is attached to it. But even so, it's crazy that everything Harry has done, right? Everything he's done in the media is to conjure up craziness. And I argue because he's a Satanist and he's trying to just torment people. But he's obviously out of control. So I'm getting, the Hermit reversed, the mentally ill card here reversed, a reverse dig here. So I do think this was not subliminal, but he was putting the idea out for a reason. He used that case for a reason. And it was kind of surprising, like he didn't see it coming, because that's the only time it's mentioned. Like he didn't bring it up otherwise. But yeah, I do believe he did put that in the documentations for a reason. That without going there, he's going there, and just subtly putting the idea out. That look at this. Harry's case and the decision made about his security is very similar to the type of decisions experts in the psychiatric field make before they, involuntarily lock someone down who's mentally ill. I thought that I was like, ooh, good one, good one. I hope that's it. It looks to me, I'm getting that it's intentional. Maybe that's wishful thinking on my part, but that's what I'm seeing. Like I said, I don't know anything about UK law, so just be a coincidence. But you think of all the all the cases he could come up with. I think it was Manjavi or whatever it was called. Yeah, that was funny. I wonder, how did Harry feel about that? I wonder if Harry was even listening. I mean, this was hours long. Does Harry really sit there and listen? I can't imagine him having the endurance to sit there and listen. They said Harry was sitting there with a notebook and pen, right, writing everything down. I mean, please. Harry can't even write, probably. Anyhow. Let's see. How did Harry feel when he heard that one? Ooh, Eight of Wands. Yeah, Harry's more concerned with posing for cameras. And Harry is just waiting. He's hoping to win so he can make another speech and tell the whole world. Because Harry and Meghan with the globalists control the media, putting everything out. So all Harry is concerned about is posing for pictures, and he's dying to have any kind of win so he can go in the media and say, arrest, Piers Morgan, arrest Murdoch, arrest them now. I call them the Met Police, I mean, the way Harry has attacked the New York City detective and barking orders at him, like as if he works for him, and threatening to go to the Attorney General and Governor Gavin Newsom. Harry seems to think he's in charge of all police forces and military, right? And in this case, I think that's why he seems to think he's the head of all police forces and military. So the arrogance, and the what do you call it? The megalomania he has with that. I mean, I really think that he really considers himself to be in charge of all of them and telling them what to do, and that they should do everything that he says, and then they don't listen, and he's going to take them to court. Did Harry catch that dig about the mentally ill incarceration being similar to his case? Did he catch that? Did he see that as a dig? Was he like, ooh, did Harry, how did Harry take that? Well, that's face down. I don't want to take that one. All right, face up. Let's go. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he caught that. He caught that big time. Any kind of slight or insult, Harry is going to catch it. He knew that was directed at him. Yeah, him and Meghan. Look at this. Eight of Cups reversed. So he knew it came right back to him afterwards. He knew. He knew. And I'll hear about it again now if he's watching my video, but Harry and Meghan watch everything on social media, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think him and Meghan, they both went back over. They knew. He knew. He knew this was kind of like, he took it, I think Harry took it as a veiled threat, for sure. Yeah. 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 For when he goes back there. Now Harry's gonna be doubly concerned when he goes back to the UK. He might be put under mental health lockdown or something. I mean, he really is, him and Meghan. I mean, they're just getting crazier and crazier. And they're getting the support from all these places like Lemonada and Netflix. And you know what? I mean, really, in a court of law, um, people like that who are, um, what's the word? They're helping make things worse for mentally ill people, right? So it's mentally ill and a drug addict and out of control. If you provide them with more drugs or encourage them towards their destruction, like Netflix is doing, like Lemonada is doing, like encouraging them, like be more crazy, go out there, go get more crazy, get out more lies and craziness. You're not an accomplice. That's more of like a criminal thing, although it could be, you could use that word accomplice. You're supporting it. You're like partly responsible for it. Like if you're not doing something to get these people help, you're you're an accomplice. And yeah, I mean, I really think that should be considered as well in analyzing this Harry and Meghan saga that we're all and the media, the People magazine, the Royston guy, the what's his name? The mouthpiece of Harry and Meghan, all these people who are helping feed Harry and Meghan's mental illness more and more, and making them more outrageous, giving them shows, giving them podcasts, like putting them out there and saying, talk more, do more, get crazier. And it's when you're dealing with someone who's got mental health issues, you know, you're help if you're making them worse, making things worse. You're accomplice. You're guilty of you're as guilty in making them worse. And that's what's the word? There's a word for it. And when you actually encourage their mental illness and their drug addictions and whatnot. Whatever, it'll come to me later. Anyhow, I do think possibly that lawyer or barrister was alluding to that. Like, who are these? And Harry's lawyers. Harry's lawyers, of course, everybody knows they're walking away with all this money, millions of dollars. So, of course, they're going to take whatever crazy court case Harry and Meghan come up with because they're going to get paid money, even though they're going to lose and lose and lose. But they want the money, right? So that could be another example of, well, where do you draw the line where you don't go to court again and again with someone who obviously has mental health issues and abuse taxpayer money and abuse the court system? Yeah. I'm wondering, and look at Harry's lawyer. Harry's lawyer is a criminal. Basically, I mean, that's what the last judge basically said. Her behavior was outrageous for a lawyer. I'm surprised she wasn't disbarred for that, or whatever the equivalent is in the UK. I mean, she released these security documents that the judge quite clearly said for lawyers' eyes only, and she doesn't even apologize for it later. She waits a week to tell him. I mean, that kind of stuff should get you in very big trouble and get at least be penalized to some extent, but apparently she just gets away with it. Maybe she would cry racism or something if he did punish her, which she rightfully deserved. So a really flagrant breaking of the rules here and the laws and jeopardizing people's lives, and they don't care. Harry and Meghan and their lawyer, Shahid Fatima. So anyway, so apparently people are saying that Harry's going to lose this. It looks really bad for Harry. He paid that lady in court that was there. I don't know what you're talking about. He paid that lady. Yeah, that lady, the Shahid Fatima, the one I showed earlier in the This lady is the same lawyer Harry had that here that got in trouble with the courts for yeah, this one. She got a lashing from the court back in 2022 after she released documents of national security to a PR man, Timothy Roberts, a PR person, press basically. She released documents that were of national security, and she refused to apologize to the judge, and the judge got red in the face and was yelling at her. And yeah, that's why I'm surprised she didn't get disbarred or whatever. That's Harry's lawyer. That's the one that's in court now. Harry's security. I mean, this whole thing is just a satanic shizzle show. Oh my goodness. Just trying to make and detrimental to everyone's mental health, dealing with these psychos like Harry and Meghan and court cases. And Meghan, again, out with her podcast, claiming it to another tragedy for herself for her fake pregnancies. Anyways, so Harry's there. He caught that. As a, Harry's paranoid anyways. So of course he sees anything as an attack, even if it wasn't meant that way. I think it kind of was, and rightfully so. And I think it's about time the courts took note of Harry's mental status and whether or not incarcerating him would be, necessary. I think he should be evaluated for sure. Let me see. Do the courts? Let me see. Do the courts think in general? Do the people in the UK, the legal minded people there, the barristers and judges, do they think Harry needs to be evaluated? Look at that flipped out. Knight of Wands reverse. So they see Harry as destructive for sure, and always looking for attention with his wife and being a demon. There's a demon. This is a card, St. George killing the demon there, and the Satanist, and it's reverse, putting the Satanist at the top. So yeah, so I think they know Harry is a Satanist, part of the satanic cabal. Very powerful, as we know, around the world with the royal family. Jennifer, you said I meant that there was a lady that was in court that yelled she was pro Harry. Oh, I didn't hear that one. I wasn't on the recording if it happened. They erased it. Oh, I didn't hear that. Wow, interesting. Do they have a video of that? Probably not. We didn't see Harry in the video at all. It was just the lawyers, barristers. So you didn't see Harry. You didn't see anyone else. Of course, Harry's crazy paid terrorist organization, satanic terrorist organization. By the way, again, look at the faces that these what do you call it? The terrorist organization that supports Harry and Meghan. Look at their face. What do you call it? The avatars they use on Twitter and whatnot, because they are all Satanists. And if you look at their avatars on their Twitter and their I could show you one. I found another one. I showed one earlier where the woman was doing the one eye thing, and there's another one doing the shush one. But all these videos you're seeing of Harry, the jam that Meghan put out. I'll show the videos later. Some more funny videos, people eating the jam. But I think that Meghan sent the jam to a lot of Satanists, because if you look at their avatars, they're doing satanic hand gestures and the shush signs, or covering the mouth, the one-eyed thing, the usual. So it's all they're all Satanists, and the court is very familiar and knows, and probably Satanists in the court as well. It's how Harry and Meghan have gotten away with everything so far. Are they considering, as the court people in the court systems, thinking Harry needs to be sectioned? Look at that. When he runs out of money, they're thinking Harry's going to eventually run out of money for this. Eventually. Oh, 7 of Wands reverse. Yeah, and they know that everybody hates Harry, and the public is against him. And, the courts usually go with public sentiment, usually in the past, for these globalist times of technocracy, where they're trying to put us all under a dictatorship. Courts seem to have flipped, right? The two-tier court system going on right now with the tyranny coming in. But they do recognize, the courts recognize that Harry is wasting millions of dollars, and he's extremely unpopular, and everyone in the public hates him and wants him to go away and shut up or be put away. Do they think Harry's mentally ill? They know he's extremely unpopular and he's wasting millions of dollars and millions of taxpayer dollars in these court cases. And you can read the comments below the videos. You can see everybody complaining about that. But do they think? Is there a consensus there that Harry is mentally ill? Ooh, Seven of Swords reversed. Well, they're not sure if Harry's crazy or if he's being clever with the globalists with their trickery. And of course, the fake baby bump card coming up, which again, Meghan brought up fake pregnancy story. And we all know that that woman didn't give birth to nothing. And she comes up with a fake story about preeclampsia or something. Yeah, he's a fool for sure. Harry's a big fool. So I think the courts think that Harry and Meghan are being tricksters here, and they are, liars. They know they're liars. They've already been caught lying in court when Meghan had to apologize to the judge for lying about claiming she didn't help Omid Scobie with the book Finding Freedom, but she did. She admitted it finally and apologized. Unlike Harry's lawyer, who didn't apologize to the judge and infuriated the judge. And I'm really surprised she's still a lawyer, but apparently she is. And evil. They're all evil. I think she's another Satanist. Is Harry's barrister, is Harry's lawyer a Satanist like Harry? Because she may be parading around like a Muslim, but I think she's a Satanist. She can pretend she's any religion she wants. Satanists are all liars. Oh, Chariot. So they're on the same political globalist agenda here. Harry's fake car chase picture with the Chariot. She supports the same tyrannical, satanic agenda as Harry. Because you notice that the globalists and the totalitarians bringing in this tyranny, they only attack Christians. I pointed that out before. They don't attack Muslims. They don't attack Buddhists. They don't attack Islams. They only attack Christians. And of course, she's with that. And she's with Harry's political agenda that Harry and Meghan are pushing here, bringing censorship and tyranny and their satanic system, New World Order, as the Satanists call it. So yeah, so she's with them for sure. She's on the same team as so many are. They're very, so many involved in this whole crimes against humanity. Yeah. But yeah, they know. I think they know Harry is being clever with his mental illness stories. Like Harry talks about how mentally ill he is, but then he goes, he's seems competent enough in going to the courtrooms and competent enough to go on stage and blather on about things. So as mentally ill and victim, because it's always the victim lies of him and Meghan. They're always victims, even though they're the most powerful people in the world, basically. I mean, one of the most powerful people. I mean, they're politically connected. They're connected to the King of England. They're the most powerful, one of the most powerful people in the world, and they're constantly claiming to be victims, right? From their mansions in Montecito, as they sue everyone left and right and get away with it, and never get called out for their lies by the mainstream media, globalist controlled mainstream media, which is why I don't trust the mainstream media with anything. You got to watch the source. They lie about everything, particularly of Trump. We know that, but also with Harry and Meghan, you can't trust anything the mainstream media comes out with. So controlled, and Harry and Meghan are just a part of that. Never calling out, never investigating Meghan's fake pregnancies, even though they taunt us with it by putting out a birth announcement with no doctor's signatures and all this other nonsense and lies and stories of being home 45 minutes after birth and all this nonsense. Just lie upon lie upon lie. But anyways, so, they never get called out there. So, they're in cahoots together. I mean, it's so obvious. Anyways, I'm blathering on there about that. So, yeah, hi, Deb. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. But so what else? I don't think there's anything else I can think to look at right now, unless there's anything you want to know. Is there any questions you want to look into about Harry's court case? Oh, is Harry going to win? Is Harry going to win this one? Please don't give him a win. If you give him a win, he's going to get back on the soapbox and call for people to be arrested right now. We need Piers Morgan arrested right now. Harry would love that. Harry wants that power so badly. You see, he's already acting like a dictator. He can't wait for the New World Order to come in so he can be a dictator and have us all arrested. He'd love that. Is Harry gonna win? Let's see. Yes, no, it's difficult, but let's see. See what the cards show. See, I mean, he's winning already by getting all this media attention and getting his argument out. Ooh, lovers. Oh my. Well, he's loving every minute of this. That's for sure. He's getting a lot of, support here. He's gonna get some sympathy from people on his side. Getting a big story here. Him and Meghan are getting extra attention. Meghan's getting extra attention with her podcast, and I'm distracting, and they're all making a big shizzle show. Ooh, Ace of Cups reversed. Uh-oh. I don't think Harry's going to win. I think he's going to be very unhappy. He may be loving it. They're getting the attention right now and playing the victim with the royal family, him and his wife. They both pop out now. Meghan with her podcast lies about having been pregnant when she never was. And it boosts their love story BS. But in reality, it looks like Harry is not going to be happy. He's not going to win. They're going to be boo-hooing after this. The racist UK courts, they're going to be, complaining about that. Because, they're always harping on security, a secure internet. So we need censorship, according to them. And now, of course, Harry with his security. It's all PR. It's all designed to boost them and their PR nonsense and to push their agenda, the media, with their James Holt, their political, another tyrannical supporter of Keir Starmer here. Yeah, so this is all just PR nonsense, and it's also witchcraft going on as well with all of this. Also, with everything they do, it's all very satanic. It's intentional, and it's evil AF as Harry and Meghan. Yeah, you don't want him to win exactly. I don't want him to win either. He's a loser. But he's going to continue wasting everybody's money and time. Because that's what satanic losers like Harry and Meghan do. Well, there you have it. That is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. So please like and subscribe. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.